Mad Max 1, I was riding a motorcycle out to do the first stunt of the movie. A bloody truck hit me on the way out. I never got there. And if I'd got to the stunt, it would have been safe. See, on the roads, you're not as protected or organised or predictable as you are in a stunt situation. So I got a broken leg. The only broken bone I've ever had. And that was trying to get to a stunt. Those roads, they're hell. One night, there I was about 65, 66 years of age, saw a flash of light, just like you get when you go through a red light camera or a speed camera. Just that momentary flash. And I thought, yeah, I don't know what that was. And the next day I was going past an optometrist and I thought, I'll check on my eyes. I went in. And the optometrist took one look in there and he said, I think I'd better send you to a specialist. Thinking he'd make an appointment in a couple of weeks. He looked at his watch and said, can you be in Chatswood in half an hour? I thought, uh-oh. Bowled in to see the specialist there. He got on the machines and looked in there. And at the end of it, he said, well, Grant, I'll give you two choices. Either go home and make up your will, or I'm taking your eye out tomorrow. The next morning, under local anaesthetic, which you're pretty knocked out by, but at the same time, I remember and saw the spoon coming down, and I heard the as it popped out. And you know, it's really interesting. While the optic nerve is still connected, there's that confused moment where your eyes are seeing two different images, and until they cut the optic nerve, I remember thinking, this is really weird.
Yeah.
But you know, that was just that. It was just a melanoma. 1/3 of the volume of the eye was melanoma. And they caught it just before it was starting to head down the blood vessels. I reckon a couple of weeks it would have been into the brain. I wrote a chapter in a book I've just written called Trust. In a lot of stunt work, the teamwork is what makes it work. Now, in a car knockdown, where you're being knocked down by somebody driving a car at 50 kilometres an hour, obviously you physically can't take that impact. So there's a whole teamwork involved where just before the car gets to you, 5 feet before, the driver slams the brakes and the accelerator down hard to the floor. That means because the braking is instant, the accelerator's got a slight lag, the car will drop down and immediately the foot comes off the brake, and at the moment of impact it starts to lift. Now that is very precise and gets you over the windscreen. And I had one occasion when the driver, who was my main competitor in Melbourne, did exactly the opposite on a live TV show, where he broke back here and accelerated. So when he hit me, he was at full height and I had nowhere to go. I was knocked out, was unconscious. They lugged me off to hospital, had a look and said, yeah, well, looks a bit sore. And that was it. I went back on the TV show the next night live and described what had happened. Or I described what should have happened, and then people saw the footage and they made up their own mind as to who was on whose side.
All right, what happened? Hang on. I haven't got enough wire. Come here. Huh?
I can understand somebody who is so competitive that they'll do anything. It's a state of mind which I don't understand myself personally, but I do know that people are like that. I mean, I wouldn't go to an effort to walk to the other side of the street, but I wouldn't be putting my arms around him saying, where have you been all my life? They know where he's been all my life, in the wrong place.
Take your health and bow your head down. Take your health and bow your head down.
easy to remember when I was the most scared. I believe totally in predictable stunts. Now, when you're working with animals, particularly hungry, big animals with big teeth, unfortunately they're not predictable. And fear of the unknown is the only real fear that humans carry. And the unknown is how an animal will predict what it's going to do. And for me, you just can't tell that. You work off instinct. I said to Lolly Walder, who was running location safaris in Africa, said, what else you got, Lolly? She said, oh, right. Look, I know we've caught a leopard about 7 months ago that's been in training, and it's ready for a tryout. Nobody told the bloody leopard it was ready for a tryout, I'll tell you. And they took it out into open country, and I had to run under a tree that they attracted it up. And when you run under a tree with a leopard in it, leopards jump on your back, that's what they do. And I was warned not to do anything sudden or violent. No. He landed on my back, and I gave him the best judo throw you've ever seen. And it was one very pissed off leopard. And that was the start of a long fight. Mostly a fight for survival on my part. And mostly a fight from the cat's point of, I don't like this bloke, I'm going to teach him a lesson. He could have killed me. All he wanted to do was teach me a lesson. Those long 2.5-inch razor sharp claws were out about that far. Just enough to ruin my suit. Destroyed my suit. Ripped the shoulder pads out of a brand new suit. And he left a lot of little scars on me. He could have left a big one, but he didn't.